of faiths represented here. So what we will do is observe a moment of silence for all of our Creator in whatever terms we see him or her. May we have a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I get to introduce the mistress of ceremonies, Miss Evelyn Rice Peebles. But first, I want to say again, thank you to everyone for coming out on this joyous occasion. We're very glad to have you, and we're very, very happy you're here. Evelyn has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Social Welfare from Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. She also has a Master's of Science degree in Urban Affairs and Policy Analysis from Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville.
They said they can't hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that a little better? Okay. Evelyn is a native St. Louisan who has served the city of St. Louis over 30 years. She was the first African American woman appointed as commissioner in the city of St. Louis and has served under now 4 mayors. Currently, Evelyn is the Commissioner of Recreation for the City of St. Louis, overseeing 7 recreation centers, 7 swimming pools, 20 football teams, 10 soccer teams, 10 baseball teams, 20 basketball teams, and cheerleading, aerobics, senior water aerobics, senior walking, and of course, boxing. She serves over 5,000 adults and 15,000 youth annually. Evelyn believes in the power of recreational activities to improve the overall lives of youth, families, and senior citizens. She began her career teaching reading and English on the middle school level. She advanced steadily through positions with the St. Louis Area Agency on Aging, SLATE, and the Community Development Agency, and finally to the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry, where she serves now as Commissioner of Recreation. She's a mentor, a foster mother to at-risk youth, women, and one of the co-founders on the women's group on race relations in St. Louis. This is a 400-member group that is now a community partner of the Missouri History Museum. So I'm going to cut it short because I could keep going. I know we got a whole bunch of people to talk to. But I wanted to thank you, and I also wanted to introduce my boss, Miss Evelyn Rice. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. There's only one thing you forgot to say about me, Greg. I'm real. I'm real. I'm real, and I have always been real, and I'm going to stay real. It is my honor, and I'm real, to introduce our next speaker. If you notice the new floors in here, if you notice the painting, if you notice that the ceiling tiles have been repaired, if you've noticed that the air conditioners are covered because they don't work, because we don't have to have them work because we now have central air. If you've noticed the painting going up the stairs, if you notice the new lockers, if you notice the new bleachers or the work that's been done in the kitchen and the floor that's been planned, the funds have been set aside for a new gym. That's Mayor Lyda Cruson, and I am thrilled to introduce her and to thank her publicly for investing in this building. And it is also the mayor who said to the director on the occasion of Mr. Stewart's homegoing celebration, let's name the Wohl Boxing Gym the Ben Stewart Boxing Gym. And we thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn, and thanks to all of you for being here this afternoon. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal this afternoon, and there we go. So I was at the boxing gym a little while ago, months ago, and it didn't look as good as it does today. And I think that this is a very fitting tribute for Ben Stewart, Coach Ben Stewart, who has had such an incredible impact on the lives of so.
Let's try it without it.
Lives. Let's see.
Is it because of that one?
Is it that mic?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to stand over here. So, who's had such an incredible impact on so many young people's lives? And I just want to say for a minute, all of his family who is here, who's wearing the red T-shirts, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring your dad, your grandpa, your aunt, your uncle, whatever his relationship is to you, because obviously he's had a great impact on your lives and on the lives of many, many St. Louisans. I also want to recognize today Barry Aycock. Where's Barry Aycock? Where are you? There we go. Barry Aycock and Michelle, John, and Joel, his family, who really made a significant private contribution to help renovate the Ben Stewart boxing gym upstairs. And we were up there a little bit ago. We got too big of a crowd to do this upstairs. We were up there just a little bit ago seeing how good that area looks, and we even had a little boxing lesson up there, which was, John, how was that? Good. He was looking good. He was looking very good. So at any rate, I'm just here really to celebrate with all of you and to thank everybody for the hard work that they've done here, the time and the effort that they put in. Where is Committeeman Joe Palm? Where are you, Joe? All right. So this event would have not happened without Joe Palm, committeeman of the mighty 26th Ward, and it wouldn't have happened without Alderwoman Hubbard. Where are you, Purple? In the purple. And so these things are a team, a big team effort. So because of the significance of this, we did a proclamation. And if you'll bear with me for just a minute.
His daughter, Therese, will accept the proclamation.
Oh, good. Daughter Therese will, did I say it? Therese, sorry about that, will accept the proclamation. But I just want to take a minute and read it if you'll bear with me. It's not too long, and this is an important day, so we can give another minute or two to this. So whereas, on behalf of the city of St. Louis, it is my pleasure to recognize legendary St. Louis boxing coach Ben Stewart, who lived in the mighty 26th Ward. And whereas Mr. Stewart was a fixture in the St. Louis boxing community for more than 50 years, spending time at the David P. Wohl Recreation Center at the corner of North Kings Highway and Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, and in the Kings Highway West neighborhood up until the day that he passed away. And whereas Mr. Stewart gave generously, very generously, of his time and of his energy working with kids in the city's recreation center, setting them on the right path and producing numerous champions and #1 ranked fighters. Whereas some of the noted boxers who trained with Mr. Stewart include Golden Gloves champion Kelly Wright, Team USA heavyweight champion Joshua Temple, and during his career, Coach Stewart sparred with the legendary Muhammad, Cassius Clay, Ali. And so whereas the city of St. Louis extends its thanks and its appreciation to Joe Palm, committeeman of the 26th Ward, Barry Aycock and his family, the family of Ben Stewart, for their continued support of recreation programs in the city. Now, therefore, I, Lyda Cruson, Mayor of the City of St. Louis, do hereby proclaim today, May the 4th, 2019, as Coach Ben Stewart Boxing Academy Day in the City of St. Louis. Thank you. That's hard, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But it's good to have all these people recognize it. Great.
Thank you so much.
You want to say something?
I'll come later.
Later? Okay, all right. I'm going to give that to you. You can take that. We can lay it on the table. Just that way you don't have to carry it around.
Just let them know I'll have voice later.
Thank you all for being here, and we'll have words a little bit later from the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also saw Miss May here, the Honorable. Thank you for being here. It is now my pleasure to introduce the President of the Board of Aldermen, Mr. Lewis Reed. Lewis?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I don't know about you all, but I'm excited today. Let me start by, can I bring the Alderwoman up?
Of course.
Yeah, the Alderwoman of the 26th, could you please? It would not be in proper order for me to talk to you before the Alderwoman from the 26th, because this is her ward and this is her house. So Alderwoman, you first, and then I'll take up.
Okay. Good afternoon. And welcome to a mighty 26 or a new 26. Mighty 26, we always gonna be mighty. Again, my name is Shameen Clark-Hubbard. I am the newly elected Alderwoman of the 26th Ward, but I'm the former committee woman of the 26th Ward. And as committee woman, I remember the day like yesterday when Committee Man Joe Palm and Brother Eric back there brought me over to the gym to meet Mr. Stewart. When I was running during the campaign, that's when I met him. And during my tenure as committee woman, we came over here because we wanted to. There's no other way to put it. We wanted to show our support. And doing my research on Mr. Stewart, I learned so much from him. I talked to my good friend, Pastor Chaz J. Quest, and he told me about how he served for over 40 years on the deacon board, 40 years on the deacon board at Cornerstone, and how he was a 33-degree Mason, and things like that in the community. You know, things that speak to your overall character, but that the biggest thing that spoke to his character was how many young men in the community that he had literally changed their lives, and that they were living, walking, breathing testimonies to his life and to his legacy. So that's why it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mayor Cruzen. Thank you, Evelyn, Carla, all of our good friends, all of our friends that are here to show our support to the family, to the community, to Wohl Community Center. One of the first things I did after I got sworn in was reach out to Dana, Ms. Moorhead, the director here. You want to make sure everybody knows who she is, and her team, and let them know that I'm 100% committed to Wohl Community Center. It's the only community center, city community center in the 26th Ward, and I'm committed to it. And I would be remiss if I didn't do one thing before I give the mic back up.
Oh, no.
Because again, I told you I did research because I like to know. I met him, but I don't like to stand up here and act like I really, really knew him. So I took the time out to ask people, what did they think about him? What did they say about him? What did he mean to them? And I was gonna read what somebody sent me, but I just panned the room and saw that he's here, Joshua. So I will let him. That's somebody who I reached out to speak to the testimony of Mr. Stewart. So you'll hopefully have. If you want to come up, you can take. I'll yield my time to you. Thank you again, Joe, for everything. Thank you again, Joe, for everything. I hope it's okay if I use my.
Yes. And let me say, this is an extraordinary young brother. Excellent boxer, excellent person, excellent son, character, integrity, all of that. Oh, wow. I'm just really pleased to stand next to you. I had to say that.
Thank you, and as she said, first off, I would like to give thanks to God to stand before you. But one short thing I'll say is Coach Ben, he was very influential in my life, great role model, not to just me, but many people, especially everyone in this room. He impacted everyone, touched everyone, so it's not just about me, but what he did for his community, for me, boxers, world champion, ringside, Tim Jarman. I mean, it's plenty of champions here that I can name, and I'm very appreciative of what he's done for me and my family and everyone here. Thank you.
He's a big guy. I think he has a little bit better reach than me. I don't know if I can handle him in the ring. But as a father of four, and I look at this and I think, the most valuable thing all of us have, our most valuable possession, isn't our house, it's not our car, it's not our bank accounts, it's not the clothes we wear on our back, it's none of those things. Our most valuable thing that we have is our time. And people can choose to do various things with their time. They can waste their time, they can burn their time, they can spend their time watching TV or whatever. Or they can invest their time. And that's why I'm so honored to be here today, because Coach Ben Stewart invested his time in the youth of this city. He invested his time in this church. He invested his time in his community to leave a better community behind. And that says something. And we continue to reap those rewards each and every day. We only have to turn on the news each and every night to understand how important it is to have people like Coach Stewart within our community that invest their time. Because every night you can turn on the news, I guarantee you can turn it on tonight and hear about some young African-American kid that got in trouble in a shooting or whatever. But there's only a handful of people that take it upon themselves to invest their time, so much so that it changes the lives of not just the child that they're touching, but the lives of the people that they touch beyond that. And the ripple effect of that has helped not just St. Louis, but our nation as a whole. So that's why I'm just so honored to be here to take part in this dedication. I have to thank, I tell you, one of my good friends, to know him is to love him, Joe Palm, the committee man of the Mighty 26. Let's give him a big round of applause. I'm really excited about Shameen Clark Hubbard, who's going to do a phenomenal job at the Board of Aldermen. You just heard from her. You have a great alderman in Shameen. I've seen her votes since she's got down to the Board of Aldermen, and she does not, when the pressure is on, she does not shake, and that's what you need in that job. She's going to do a phenomenal job. Let's give her a big round of applause. And thanks to our mayor for having the vision to say that this should be named the Ben Stewart boxing gym. I mean, that's something. So thank you, Mayor, for that. I appreciate that. And lastly, and most important, I'd like to ask all the family of Coach Stewart to please stand. Can the family members all stand? Because just like Coach Stewart invested his time to make St. Louis a better place, I knew that took away from your time with him. So I want to thank you on behalf of the city of St. Louis and as a father of four for your commitment and for giving us so much of his time during his time here on the planet. Let's give them a big round of applause and thank you.
Thank you. I happen to know President Reed is supposed to be out of town and changed his plans so that he could be here and honor Mr. Stewart. Also, if the agenda is not perfectly put together, I am doing exactly what Joe Palm told me to do. Joe Palm put this agenda together. So if anything isn't right, it's the order Joe put it in. I don't know if you've ever had occasion to debate Joe Palm, but you will lose. So you will lose. And it has been, I've watched him grow as a young man when he was with Recreation, 20-something years ago? And he was enthused then. And then I'd see him over here at Wohl in the boxing gym all the time. And I asked Mr. Stewart, what you doing with him? He said, I'm going to make something out of him. I said, okay. Okay, Mr. Stewart. At this time, I would like to recognize Senator Committee Woman of the Mighty 26th Ward, where I grew up, by the way, 5120 Minerva, every day of my life, the Honorable Carla May. And I met Carla as a parent when our kids were in school together, and what I love, she never threw around her name or her title. She was just a mom, and I really respect that.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I want to say thank you to your family to his family, Coach Stewart's family, for allowing us the opportunity to share him. I met Coach Stewart through my committee man, Joe Palm, right after I got elected as the state representative for the 84th district. And that was right after I got elected. We were doing a play up here with some of the young people in Wohl. We had did a community play, and I told Joe I was at the community center, working with kids, and we were doing a play, and he said, well, come on, you got to meet Coach. And one thing I have to say about him that I'll never forget is that he knew the value of the young people growing up in this community. And he knew that if he offered them an alternative to the things that was out in the streets, that they were going to be successful and it was going to change their lives forever. So he gave that selfless dedication to not only coaching them, but fathering them. And so you can't ever forget that part, because a lot of young people who came through here didn't have that father figure, and he offered that father figure. He offered that wisdom. He told you whatever you needed to hear when you met him. And because he told me that I needed to do some things, about the community center, and it needed to have some changes, and it didn't have the money that was flowing here. Well, I'm so glad that right now that some people after me, were able to get the gym changed and fixed up for the young people to continue to come and carry on his legacy. So I just want to, give great appreciation and a great shout out to Committee Man Joe Palm, the new Alderman, Shameen Hubbard. But I wanted you to know something else. Joe Palm is not just a committee man. He's not just somebody who loves boxing, because he does, but he is fighting hard. He is the director of minority health for the state of Missouri. And not only is he working in here, he's fighting in those streets to help our kids not OD on these new types of drugs. And he's got money coming to the city from the state because of his passion in that effort as well. So I just want to say to the family, thank you again for allowing us to share your loved one, because he has made a huge impact on our lives and the lives of our community. Thank you.
Alderwoman, I don't know if you want to speak again or you're fine. Okay, thank you. The Rez, Pee-wee. This is Mr. Stewart's daughter, and she's going to say a few words of thank you on behalf of the family. And just so you know, I grew up, what was your all address? 5119. They were 5119 Minerva, and I grew up 5120 Minerva. So we were directly across the street my entire life. Mr. Stewart probably whooped me a time or two. Or certainly your mom did. Yeah, probably that's what happened. But it's been a long, wonderful experience. The rest.
Thank you. I won't be before you very long. The words that I've listened to so far look like they came from my notes, and I'm sorry to have to read from my notes, but I'm just kind of full right now, and I don't want to forget to say something, so just bear with me. First of all, I do bring greetings from the Stewart family to all that are gathered here this afternoon, to all the distinguished representatives here. We say thank you. To the participating members of the Wohl Community Center family, we thank you for being here as well. And to friends, we warmly accept and appreciate the proclamation honoring our father, our family member here today, because this is the place where he gave so much of his time and talent to others. My father, as many of you know, was deeply passionate and dedicated to boxing, and to those entering the ring wherever he coached and traveled to coach. When I listen about how dedicated he was when he did travel, taking young men here and there across the country, he was focused like a laser on what the task was before them. But I just want to let you know that on one of those focused opportunities, I lived in California, had just had my first child. My mom was supposed to come, but her doctor decided to put her in the hospital. Well, it really saddened me because I was just returning from overseas. We didn't have any family in California, and I felt so lost. After returning home after a 3-day stay in the hospital, there was a knock on my door at the military base. And who was at the door? My dad, Ben Stewart. Now, he had boxers down somewhere in San Francisco. Yeah. He hopped a Greyhound bus after whatever it was they needed to do, came to my home, and he said, "Your mom said don't come back without having seen me and the newborn grandchild." So he broke a little bit of the protocol and came to see about us. I'll never forget that. My father saw boxing as much, much more than just teaching skills needed in the ring. He saw boxing also being a threefold channel by which a work ethic could be developed, self-worth and esteem could be built, and the building of confidence. He knew those things would help create strong characters and enable a boxer to deal with the harshness life sometimes could deal out. If these three things transferred outside the ring, order to their lives would follow. He was not only interested in seeing the making of a champion inside a ring, he wanted those entering the ring to champion life. So from the entire Stewart family, we thank you and we greatly appreciate this honor. Thank you.
This is so special. It really is special. Mr. Stewart, I'm going to say is, I'm a Christian, so I believe he's there applauding. He sees the floors, probably saying, well, they had to wait till I was gone to do it. But this is really a special moment. And I would just like to now bring up someone who really, Joe, you got this in our counter order, but it's okay. I'd like to bring up Mrs. Michelle Leacock. Now, this is a family that's not necessarily in this community, but through the communication of Joe Palm, who was able to describe our need to this family, come on, they made a decision to contribute. And they purchased the boxing ring, boxing gloves, and probably other equipment that I'm not remembering right now, but Joe will, and he's going to be the final speaker of the day. But we just want you to have a few words with us and share how you were moved to do what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Michelle Leacock. My husband Barry and I made the trip today to be with you all, and I'm a little emotional myself, honestly, so you'll have to forgive me. I'd never met Coach Stewart face to face, but after listening to stories today shared with us, with our family, what a man and what a legacy, and how fortunate you are to have had him. And it was Mr. Joe that contacted my husband and shared with him this vision. Not really a vision, but what was actually happening at this rec center. And so we were intrigued, and he shared more and he shared more. And we said, yes, yeah, we'd love to be a part of that. After being here today, I have to say how exciting it is, and I want to thank Joe for thinking of us, because what an honor and a humbling thing to be just a little part of an amazing and exciting thing that's happening in this community. What a legacy he left, and what continues to happen here because of his work and because of who he was. And I have to say, it's extremely exciting and it's extremely moving and humbling to think that we played a small role in the possibility that men and women will grow up and say one day, I'm a better man and I'm a better woman because I was here and because of Coach Stewart and what he left behind. So thank you for letting us be a part of this today, and we wish you all the best luck. We're excited to hear great things.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a wonderful segue and introduction for Dana Moorhead. Come on up, Dana. Men and women will say, I'm a better person for having grown up in Wohl Center. And this young lady is the director of Wohl Center. She's my right hand. She's a person who will come to work. She has come to work when there wasn't money to pay. During those lean years, and I don't want to get emotional, when my budget would get cut, Dana would say, you know, Miss Peebles, you don't have to pay me to come to work. You can pay me to work 5 days and I'll work 7. And she's done that for years. She's done that for years. Here we go. We're going to be the crying twins.
Right,
up
do you
here.
hear me?
Anyway, but you go ahead.
I want to introduce myself again. My name is Dana Moorhead, and I am the center director here at Wohl. Been with the city 27 years and love what I do. But let me touch bases on some things. I want to welcome everyone that's here. I'm looking around the room. I'm seeing faces that's so familiar, former boxing coaches and former volunteers, and I'm excited to see. This is amazing. I did not know Mr. Stewart was so loved and appreciated, and I appreciate everything you all has done for the center and the city. So thank you. So let me touch bases on Mr. Stewart. I don't know if you all know, but that man was here every day. Rain, sleet, or snow. I'm gonna say that again. Rain, sleet, or snow. Mr. Stewart was here with these kids doing boxing. No problem, didn't complain about anything. And one thing I wanna say, all my staff calls me Dana. He calls me Dana Moorhead. Hey, Miss Dana Moorhead. Hey, Miss Moorhead. And that put a smile on my face every time he would say that, because I'm like, he's the only one that says that. And I appreciate Mr. Stewart. But you all, the donations, Barry and Michelle, we appreciate you all. I appreciate everything Joe Palm has done. I also want to thank Lyda Cruz. You believe in recreation, and we appreciate everything you've done for us. It's a blessing. You all see all the accomplishments Mr. Stewart has done. I want you all to appreciate what he has done. And we love Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart was like a family member to us. And when I say family member, he was like a family member. And I loved him to death. And the years I had him with me, I appreciated every bit of it, okay? So again, I just want to say thank you all for coming out, celebrating the life of Mr. Stewart, our new academy. I can't wait for you all to see the boxing room. It's a totally different room. It's been painted, new floors, new boxing ring. We appreciate everything. Joe Palm, I want to thank you for everything you've done. I want to thank Evelyn Rice Peoples, my boss, for believing in us also and appreciating everything we've done and everything she's done. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Dana's been here 20-something years. I've been here 30-something. So we started when I was 8 and she was 6. I will tell this little quick story about Mr. Stewart. We grew up across the street. I grew up across the street from him. And at that time, my husband and I would have disagreements. And he would storm out the house and say, I'm going to go talk to Mr. Stewart. So he would talk to Mr. Stewart, come back to the house, and say, you going to do what I said. I'm the man. I'm like, excuse me? He said, Mr. Stewart told me run my house. I said, you know what, you're going to be over there with Mr. Stewart, because we had to work together. But, and he couldn't be here today. He loved Mr. Stewart too. Wonderful man, Mrs. Stewart, wonderful family. And we won't keep going. I could stand here a long time. But I just want to say something really quickly about boxing. Boxing's a lot more than fighting with your fists. Boxing is not a slugging match. What I learned as commissioner is boxers are smart, they're thoughtful, they have to be strategic, they have to plan, they have to push through pain, they have to ignore pain. They have to learn to get their whole body to work as a team. They have to condition themselves. And if you watch their legs, a ballet dancer can't do what a boxer can do. I appreciate boxing. I appreciate those of you. I see your dad is here. Thank you. You have been such a support to us through the years. And right now, it is my pleasure to introduce Joe Palm, who without him, this wouldn't have happened. And without him, Mr. Stewart wouldn't have had as much to pour into. You know, you can pour into some people and they don't hear you. But Joe really heard. And then Joe, I saw him start bulking up and whatnot. Come on, Joe. And he has really been a cheerleader for Parks and Recreation every day. And we so appreciate him. And he continues to reach out. He continues to love young people. They continue to love him, and I would like to now bring him up, and he will be the last speaker that you hear, and then we will go up to the boxing room.
How's everybody doing? Great. You know, first I'd like to thank God. A lot of times people don't talk about God. I'm going to talk about God. And I say to you, I do a lot wrong in life. But God's grace wakes me up every day. And I tell people, every day you wake up and you're alive and you're healthy, you got another chance and you should be thankful to God.
That's right.
I also want to thank our mayor, Mayor Lyda Cruzen. I've worked with the mayor for probably 25 years. I remember when the mayor first became alderwoman of the 28th Ward. And when she gives her word, I can count on it. She picks up her phone. She returns my phone calls. She's been here for almost, 3 hours? And when I talked to her about the concerns, she responded. The scoreboard at Wohl that was broken down, she got right on top of that, told them, get that scoreboard up for the kids. It's all about the kids, they're the future. It's all about the kids. And so are the children. And so I'm really thankful to her. I'm thankful to Lewis Reed. I'm thankful to the commissioner. I'm thankful to Alderwoman Hubbard. I'm thankful to Dana, thankful to Greg Jones, thankful to Coach Eric Benford, that, you know, every day.
Yeah, let's see.
Every day. You all don't know this, but I'm going to talk about the reality of things. Not only did he come every day in the snow, sleet, and rain, he came in a motor scooter.
Yes, yes, he did.
Okay, he rolled through the streets and came in a motor scooter. I step over, brother. I ain't tripping off the camera. But anyway, he came in that motor scooter, and then Mike Cross, he got a video over there that he was just showing me where he had to use a walker to go up the steps, and he had some different health ailments that he faced, but he kept a positive attitude every single day. And Coach Stewart loved the kids. He loved the coaches. He yelled at you sometimes, especially Eric. But, you know, I'm just thankful. You know, Mr. Barry Leacock is all the way from Parma, Missouri. That's a couple hours that he had to drive with Mrs. Michelle and John and Joe up here. And when I called him, we met years ago. And ever since I met Mr. Barry Leacock, he's gave his word. he's done a lot to help people in St. Louis, but they didn't always do what they were supposed to do. Because some politicians, they don't always do what they're supposed to do when people try to help. So when he gave his donation, the mayor will tell you, I gave the donation straight to her. And it went to recreation, and then it went straight to get all the equipment to help the youth. Timothy Jarman, Tim, stand up. Timothy Jarman is coached by Eric Benford now, and he was coached by Ben Stewart, and he's ranked #1 in the United States. He's fighting in the Pan Am Games. And he's a great young man, mannerable young man. He's doing what he has to do. He's representing the ward, the city, the state. Coach Ben Stewart produced more champions out of Wohl than any boxing, gym, center, anything in the state of Missouri. Mr. Berry and family, I can tell you right now, I couldn't thank you enough, brother. You always come through, and I might be asking you to do more. I'm not gonna lie to you. But one thing I wanted you to see, and I wanted this to happen this way with all this list of people, because I wanted you to know that I'm just not some other person calling you, asking you for something. Because I don't ask for nothing for me. I try to help these youth. We got to help the youth. We got to pray to God. We got to show some love in this community.
That's right.
And we got to come together and join with each other. And Mayor, you know, I appreciate you coming here, joining. Don't let nobody say that the mayor don't come everywhere she need to be anytime and support our community, because she does. Come on up, Mayor. Come on up, Alderwoman. Okay, before we do anything, she said she want #1 ranked boxer in the United States, Timothy Jarman, to say a few words. Love this young man. Come on up here, E. Coach Eric, come on up. Come on up so you can give. Come on up. He's shy when it comes to this kind of stuff. But he's not shy when you get in that ring.
That's right. That's right.
K-Roz, I want to thank you for doing the banner. Come on up, Mike Cross. Mike Cross is another champion. K-Roz a champion. Eric was a champion. Man, I mean, it's nothing but champions. Where Josh? Come on up, Josh. Another champion, ranked #1. Did Lewis walk in? Holloway? Come on up, Lewis. Lewis just won the Golden Gloves. Yeah, this was really about. Come on up, Jabril. Coach Ben coached you too. Come on. Come on up, Jabril. Another champ. Let's go.
Jalen, come up. He's our one of our junior Olympic champions. He's going to the Nationals next month.
Come on up, Jalen. That's my fault too.
This team here, when Dad started this team here, this when he truly fell in love with boxing. These guys are 147, Lewis. Is that Arthur? Yes. That's Arthur. Saw Daddy smiling. I ain't get that many smiles, and I got hit on the head a whole lot of times. But this is when he truly became a boxing coach behind him.
It's all right, bro.
Hold it.
13 years he volunteered.
This is when he fell in love with this game right here, when he had this squad. And this baby boy here was real little. Scrawny little.
Come on, K-Rod.
Come on, you. And then K-Rod came. K-Rod came right behind me and just gave him another life on boxing, man. He just kept him alive. Man, when these guys do what they do and win, oh, Dad'd be so happy. Oh, he'd just be so happy. I be mad because I can't go. But that's how it is, y'all. That's where it's at.
This is just a privilege to stand among all of you winners here. All of you are winners. So this is really a privilege. So I have one last little thing to present here. Barry, you're going to have to come up here. Because this is presented to Barry and Michelle Aycock. We'd love to have Michelle and John and Joel up here if they don't mind.
Yeah, you and the family, baby. Family.
Presented to Barry and Michelle Leacock in appreciation for your support and dedication to the Ben Stewart Boxing Academy at Wohl Recreation Center. Thank you so much. Thank you from me, Joe Palm, Senator Carla May, President Lewis Reed, Alderwoman Shamim Hubbard, State Representative Wiley Price, Director Greg Hayes, Commissioner Evelyn Rice, Assistant Commissioner Gregory Jones, Supervisor Dana Moorhead, and Coach Eric Benford today. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here today, for letting me be a part of this incredible celebration. And now is the time you get to go upstairs and see this incredible boxing gym. Thank you.